For 2 weeks only, buy the Zombie Chronicles poster pack. A link is down below. The zombie storyline Q&A is back, everybody. Well, for now. We'll see how long it lasts. This is the longest running series on my channel. I've been doing this series for probably 3, maybe 4 years now. I've made probably around 200 episodes of the zombie storyline Q&A, and this is a very difficult series to get, especially as time goes on, because I run into a few issues every week when I'm trying to pick questions for the show. I've already answered the question, or the question is unanswerable, and it's not really worth talking about. To be a good question for the zombie storyline Q&A, it has to be something that can either be theorized about or explained, and should take up more than a 30-second answer. I don't want to just pick a question that either has a one-word answer or takes 30 seconds. There's no fun in that, and it doesn't make for a good episode. Questions for the zombie storyline Q&A need to be able to be answerable and also take up a little bit more time than just a basic, simple Google question. If you can Google it, it's probably not great for the zombie storyline Q&A. Either way, this is the series where you guys leave me questions about the zombie storyline and I answer them, whether it be big, small, simple, or complicated. I may take it on for the next episode. So if you have a question for the zombie storyline Q&A, leave them down in the comments below. Without further ado, let's begin. We're going to begin with a question from Cody, also known as MagicFan88 on Twitter, who asks, in your opinion, where do you think the story is headed next? When I think about the zombie storyline and I look at everything we have in front of us, I think there are two possible directions for the zombie storyline, and neither direction is exclusive. We could potentially have both. The first idea I have is a new zombies game in which Dr. Monty is now the antagonist. He is the villain. All throughout Black Ops 3, we've kind of had these hints that suggest that Monty may be the bad guy, and we have a cipher, for example, on Revelations, that suggests that Monty will be a lot of trouble. It goes like this: I am the last of us, but I will be joining you soon, my friends. Death is near. I hope that what we've done doesn't come back to bite this universe in the ass. Thank God we will all be gone, because if Monty ever found this place, we would be in a world of shit. Maybe now, with all of us gone, the children will truly be safe. Tell me this does not scream a Black Ops 4, not to say that it has to be called Black Ops 4, but the next Call of Duty in which Monty is the villain, and maybe whatever plan he had for the children isn't as good as we think it is. It seems as though the children are scared of Monty. We have this shot of Monty in front of the children, and the children look very nervous. We have the Shadow Man suggesting that Monty is evil. To me, the next Call of Duty Zombies will feature Monty as the villain. I think that's one of the next directions we're going. Another direction that I think could be interesting for Call of Duty Zombies is one in which Richtofen actually ends and wins Buried. So at the end of Buried, we learn that Maxis' endgame is the correct one, the canon one. Black Ops 3 and Origins cannot exist without Dr. Maxis winning Buried and winning its endgame. But what if we saw an alternate form of Buried where Richtofen actually won, and the story that spins off from that, and what kind of adventures could follow that? Where you see a universe split into two. It's not necessarily a fracture, but we've explored one half of the universe. Now we can explore the other half of the universe. What happens if, hypothetically, Richtofen is the winner, and we can still have an evil Monty in this universe because presumably Monty would still exist, and everything we've learned about the Keepers and the Apothicons and all of that would still exist. The Shadow Man, every single character, every artifact, the summoning key, the Chronorium still exist. But it all plays into a brand new adventure that we could explore with Richtofen as the main antagonist and potentially bring back the Moon Crew, which I know a number of people would love in the community. If you ask me though, because of what we learned from the timeline about Buried and because of all the hints that we get about Monty being evil, those two directions are probably where Black Ops 4 could go, or whatever the heck Treyarch wants to call their next zombies game. We're now going to take a question from Name, or however the heck you pronounce that, I apologize, also known as @ANG3x6 on Twitter, who says, eye color explanation. I decided to pick this question because I have a theory about the eye colors, but I don't think I've formally explained it in a video. I've touched on it in bits and pieces across a few recent videos, but I don't think I've actually nailed down my definitive theory about the eye colors. What I believe is that Monty is responsible for red eyes. Richtofen is responsible for blue eyes, and Samantha is responsible for yellow eyes. Or the yellow eyes can also be the default color for zombies. So when we think about it, when Richtofen takes control of the pyramid, the eyes go from yellow to blue. Richtofen is now in control as opposed to Samantha, who was in control. Now the thing is, yellow I think can also be a default color because it seems as though the eyes were yellow before Samantha even got into the pyramid. So that's where the default color comes from. Some people have suggested that it's not actually blue that represents Richtofen, but it's the Apothicons that represent blue. And this is because the blue sun of the Apothicons is blue, and Richtofen is sort of a pawn of the Apothicons. It is the Shadow Man who's whispering into his ears. The problem I have with this theory is that Richtofen is corrupted by the Dark Ether when he is being used by the Shadow Man, and Samantha is also being corrupted by the Dark Ether. The pyramid, which is used to control the zombies in some senses, is an Apothicon device. So in theory, even if Samantha was in the pyramid, she'd still kind of be under the control of the Apothicons, and the eyes would be blue. So I don't know if that is necessarily the case, where blue suddenly means Apothicons and yellow means keepers. I'm not necessarily buying that theory. I do think, though, blue correlates with Richtofen and yellow correlates with Samantha, but sometimes when the zombies are yellow, it also doesn't mean anything. Now, what about red? I believe red appears whenever Monty is present. If you think about masks that have Monty in them, the zombies have red eyes. Revelations and Garrod Crovey. And you also have Monty's lion, which features red eyes on it. Now, what about Mob of the Dead? Well, I have a theory that Monty is actually the one in control of Mob of the Dead. This is because Monty sometimes takes on that role of the Punisher, and we know that the Shadow Man was not involved in Mob of the Dead. The Shadow Man has also described Monty as the literal devil, which, if you play Mob of the Dead, feels very demonic and feels as though this was the creation of the devil, and Monty has been linked to red eyes, for example, the red eyes on his gumball machine. So I personally believe that Monty is the one responsible for the red eyes, and whenever Monty is present, or maybe whenever an ancient is present, you will see red eyes. That's my personal theory on red eyes in zombies. The last question I'm taking on comes from Dragon B's Worse, who asks, what's the storyline behind Zombie Chronicles? This is a tough one, and I'm answering this question not because I think I can give a great explanation and fully explain it, but because so many people have asked me, and I just kind of want to go on the record and state everything we know about this question right now. So, what is the story behind Zombie Chronicles? First things first, this is an alternate universe. This is not the original universe that we played in from Black Ops 1 and into Black Ops 2 a little bit. This universe is different. Things are altered. You'll notice that the moon is different in Shangri-La. Richtofen isn't wearing his spacesuit in Ascension. The radios in Ascension have been slightly changed, and of course there are radios found all over the map featuring Dr. Monty, which were not in the originals. So it's little things like this that let you know that this is actually in a different universe. Some people have tried to explain to me that Zombie Chronicles isn't canon, and that's not the case. Zombie Chronicles is definitely canon, especially when Treyarch goes ahead and releases a story trailer to Zombie Chronicles. If that's not the biggest giveaway that this is a part of the story, then I don't know what is. I personally believe, and I don't think you can really disprove, that Zombie Chronicles isn't canon. Why would Treyarch make something like this unless it wasn't? Now, the way Monty talks about things in the radios makes it sound like it was after Black Ops 3. He mentions in the moon radio that the moon was blown up, which is something that happens in Black Ops 3, so we have to be reliving events after Black Ops 3. I can't tell you when this fits into the timeline after Black Ops 3, but maybe it's after our characters are going through the cycle. Maybe Monty recognizes the cycle and decides to change it up a little bit and spice it up with some radios, and maybe that could be what's going on, or maybe this is a fracture, an alternate universe that we're going through. We know our characters are repeating the same events over and over in a cycle. Maybe within that cycle, Monty is changing it or has created a fracture, and in this alternate universe, Monty is kind of reliving and reminiscing. Now, it's weird that this is happening. Why would Monty have our characters relive these events? It's almost like he wants them to relive them and learn from them. maybe so they don't repeat the same mistakes. It's the radios that are the biggest kind of giveaway as to what's going on. The radios let us know that this is a creation of Dr. Monty. This isn't exactly the original version that we were playing in. Everything is very similar, but not quite. And hopefully what the Zombie Chronicles is and its nature gets explored in a later Zombies game and a Zombies map. But for now, we do know that this is something separate from what's going on, feels like a different universe, and is Monty's creation, and is a part of the canonical storyline. That's going to wrap things up for this episode of the Zombie Storyline Q&A. If you enjoyed the video, maybe give it a like, possibly subscribe for more. I'm always covering the Zombie Storyline, and if you enjoyed this video, I'm sure you'll enjoy the next one. And if you want, you can leave questions for a future episode of the Zombie Storyline Q&A down below. And remember what I said about good questions. They need to be answerable, require more than a simple Google search, and something I haven't already answered. I'm going to go. Have a wonderful day, and bye.